So due to a somewhat popular demand, today's video is going to be about the Townies rather than the Jocks. For anyone interested about the Jocks, it will be available to watch on the 28th of September, or now if you're watching it past that date. Anyway, let's get started with the beta Townies. Unlike my other beta videos, I'm not going to analyse every character right away because I have a bit of info about the entire clique. Firstly, some people believe that the Townies were originally the punks due to the similar anarchy style clothing they wear, with the dropouts wearing your typical punk style clothing and the punks wearing their school uniform in a typical anarchy style fashion. This is somewhat false. On Tyler's art, there is both artwork for both Zoe and Sid. Sid is the only known punk, by the way. Anyway, on that page, they are both listed as two separate cliques, with Zoe being listed as a dropout and Sid being listed as a punk. Whether or not the Townies were inspired by the punks or not is a different debate for a different time. Either way, it pretty much confirms that the punks were not early versions of the dropouts. It's also possible that the Townies' turf wasn't Blue Skies but actually New Coventry. There's actually some information I've got to back this up. In the mission Balls of Snow in the Scholarship Edition, Jimmy must help Rudy the Santa by throwing snowballs at Townies in New Coventry during the day. There are no greeters around during this mission either, which is odd, since outside the mission, Townies never spawn in New Coventry until 11 PM. I've never actually seen any Townies spawn in New Coventry during the day. I've always seen them spawn in late at night, or at very early times like 8 AM, where they usually get their ass kicked by a greaser. Another interesting clip that backs this up is in the holiday trailer for Bully. A short clip shows Clint Aka Henry shoving Jimmy over in New Coventry near the bike park. This mission is the Collector, which is only available in Scholarship Edition. In Scholarship Edition, this mission is given to Jimmy near some trailers in Blue Skies rather than near the bike park in New Coventry. Strangely, in the game's files, both Russell and Edgar are listed as the dropout leaders. Before I get onto what I mean, in the files, every character has a little abbreviation next to their model name. For example, Preppies are listed as PR, Greasers are listed as GRH, and Townies are listed as DO, and so on. Leader model names actually have lead in them. So for example, Darby Harrington's model name would be PR lead _ Darby. Russell's model name is actually DO lead _ Russell, which is incredibly odd since all the Bully file names are weirdly named Bully 0 and some number, unlike every other character in the clique. Now we'll get on to analysing every character in the dropouts. We'll start off with Zoe first, as she was one of the earliest known Townies. Zoe's earliest known appearance here is drastically different, like barely recognisable, but you still know it's her. Her hairstyle is a mohawk, she's got a collar on her neck, her tank top and skirt are much shorter too. Zoe's ribs also appear to be sticking out slightly. The skull on Zoe's tank top is black rather than brown, and her skirt is red plaid rather than denim, or orange plaid if you want to compare it to her uniform. It's likely her tank top and skirt were made bigger, as her appearance here could be considered a bit too sexual for Bully's T or 15 rating. Zoe's second beta appearance is largely the same, just with a few minor texture changes. In this appearance, Zoe's tank top still has the black skull design, and her skirt is missing the flames at the bottom. Her socks are also white rather than orange. This appearance can still be seen in-game on the PC or Xbox 360 version, on the Rock Band poster Jimmy can buy at the carnival. Like most other girls in Bully, Zoe also had an appearance where she was in her underwear. However, unlike the other girls, whose underwear models were changed into pyjama models to save Rockstar's ass from breaking the law, Zoe's appearance was completely deleted. So it's possible, but not confirmed, at one point Rockstar were going to have a model of Zoe in her pyjamas. Lastly, it's not exactly a beta model since you can still see it in-game without mods, but Zoe's winter model goes pretty much unused. Since the majority of players wouldn't see this on an average playthrough, here it is. Her appearance here is basically the same as her usual Townie outfit, just with a thick black jacket. You can still see this in-game by doing a go-kart street race in Chapter 3. Edgar Munson's appearance also changed rather drastically. He looks considerably older here, he doesn't have the scar on his face like he does in the final game, and his hairstyle here looks the same, just a bit more brownish rather than black. Edgar's shirt is green and long sleeve rather than orange with short sleeves. It's a bit difficult to see if Edgar's shirt actually has a pocket or not, since the pose Edgar is doing here would actually hide the pocket. Edgar's undershirt is also white rather than dark green. I can't be the only one who thinks that Rockstar just reused this Grove Street model from GTA San Andreas. Well, obviously changed the head, but you know what I mean, it's just like, you could probably get this Grove Street member to look like Edgar if you just give him a retexture. And obviously alter his head. Edgar also appears to be wearing loose chinos rather than grey jeans. Like Zoe, Edgar also has a winter appearance, which is still in game, but it's never used since Edgar never spawns in free mode. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Edgar does spawn in the mission Balls of Snow in the Scholarship Edition. I think I'm not entirely sure, but aside from that, most of you probably won't even have seen Edgar's winter appearance, so here it is. Clint, aka Henry, is one of those characters which nobody is 100% sure of his name. It's pretty much widely accepted in the Buddy fanbase to call him Clint, aka Henry. His real name is unknown, but if you recruit him, he's known as Henry. But in the Scholarship Edition missions The Collector and Mailbox Armageddon, Jimmy specifically refers to him as Clint. However, his file names do list him as Henry. It's safe to assume that his name was actually going to be Henry at one point. Well, it still kind of is Henry, but I hope you know what I mean by that anyway. Now, Henry's outfit never changed, aside from a few texture changes, like the logo on his vest is grey rather than orange. He does look bald in this picture, but it's most likely the angle the photo was taken at, as Henry does have very short hair, like a skinhead or buzz cut. Jerry had a minor change in his hairstyle, as he has more hair here than in the final game. It's hard to see what hairstyle he actually has, as we can only see this one angle. Another thing that changed for Jerry was his shirt texture, as his shirt logo and his arms aren't orange here. Instead, his shirt arms are white, and his shirt logo is brown. Those are the only changes I've noticed for Jerry. Leon's jacket was brown in the beta, unlike the final version where his jacket is more orange than brown. Compared to the Scholarship Edition model, his shirt appears to be a bit darker here. Aside from these two changes, Leon's appearance pretty much stayed the same. For Otto, Clint, and Leon's asylum appearance, and possibly the other asylum inmates, they actually wore white hospital gowns rather than the blue gowns they have in the final game. One of the only changes I can see for Duncan is his vest, as it lacks the orange circle logo he has in the final game. A very minor change most won't see here is his shoe change colour a bit too. In this version they're black and sort of white, whereas in the final game they're brown with a white tip where his toes are. Gurney's appearance here is much different compared to his final design. His facial structure is different, he has a different hairstyle, and his goatee only covers his chin, unlike the final game where his goatee is a lot bigger. Gurney's shirt also changed colour too, with it being a very dull grey with a red logo. It's also hard to see, but it looks like his logo didn't change, aside from the colour obviously. Lastly, we have Omar. The only thing that changed for Omar was his vest. His biohazard logo was made a lot clearer in the Scholarship Edition, and Omar's vest also lacks the little flames at the very bottom. Aside from that, his appearance remained largely the same as his final design. Well, that's all the stuff I could find out about the beta Townies, and thank you for watching. I should probably add this little screen here so you can check out the other beta buddy clicks. If there's no annotation above a click name, it's probably because I haven't done that click yet. Once I've done them, I'll add an annotation link into that video. So thank you for watching.